We are but a few short days away from the 14th anniversary of the release of A Dance with Dragons, and we finally have an update from George R.R. Martin on the Winds of Winter. Oh boy, I'm sure it's going to be newsworthy, and I'm sure it's going to inspire a lot of hope of long-suffering fans out there, right? It's definitely not a retread in something that we heard like 3 years ago. No, that's definitely not going to be the case, because George, well, he's an arbiter of truth after all. George R.R. Martin finally delivers good news about the Winds of Winter. Alright, it's an update Game of Thrones fans have been waiting over a decade for. Martin has finally confirmed that the Winds of Winter is not only progressing, it's officially going to be the longest book in the Song of Ice and Fire series. Oh wow, it took him this long to say that. Huh, interesting. During a live stream interview with Penguin Random House, Martin admitted that, what many had already suspected based on the years of cryptic blog posts and teasing updates. It's a big book. I've said that before. It's a challenging book. It's probably going to be a larger book than any of the previous volumes in the series. Well, given the fact that A Feast for Crows and Dance with Dragons was supposed to be one book and then it ended up getting split into two. I mean, it's not like we haven't been here before, but The Winds of Winter is massive. 1,500 manuscript pages massive, which, all right, yeah, we've kind of known this for years at this point, but it might grow even bigger once Martin finally figures out a way to untangle the infamous, yes, Myronese knot. Well, if he just, I don't know, applies himself and gets to work on it, he could probably figure it out. But no, he's got shows and stuff. Don't worry about that. But other more pressing things like a Black Hercules animated series, because that's important. Anyways, after 14 long years of writing, Martin confirmed that he's roughly 75% finished with the long-anticipated 6th installment. So at the moment, he's penned about 1,200 pages with another 400 to 500 still to go. Okay, so it took him 14 years to get to 1,200 pages, but yeah, that alone would make it longer than A Storm of Swords and A Dance with Dragons, which previously held the record for size within the series. Yeah, it's interesting, but Martin acknowledged he has part of the delay hadn't been his famously packed schedule of various TV projects, but also opening bars and restaurants and buying toy model train sets and bitching and complaining on his Not a blog. I know, basically doing everything except for writing the book. But yes, it's the scale of the story itself, with more characters in play and more plot lines converging. The narrative has ballooned in complexity, right? But yeah, just going back to like the raw numbers here. Okay, so he just confirmed in this live stream. This live stream from 2 years ago and a Collider article from 5 days ago. Okay, he is 75% done. Yeah, guys, this is something that we have known, and the last update that we got on this of anything of substance outside of you. So what if I die? It doesn't matter if I finish the book or not. You guys have already made up your mind. Shut up. Yeah, The Winds of Winter is now 3/4 finished. The author gave Stephen Colbert an update on the long-awaited Game of Thrones novel and how he wishes, he could take a dragon to the Kremlin. See, that's what he's more concerned about. Bitching and complaining about pressing real-world politics and less about finishing his own goddamn story. It is just, it's so pathetic, man. None of this stuff is new. Winds is never coming out. You're still 75% done after 3 years of no substantive update. There's a reason that you have already defined your legacy. Not being somebody who crafted one of the most realized fantasy worlds since Tolkien, but the guy who never finished the books. You set yourself that standard, and now you're just gonna get memed into eternity. You become a source of mockery, and now your contemporaries are even taking pointed shots. But he does walk it back, okay? So when I say I'll write something, I will. The Witcher author Andrzej Sapkowski promises new books while throwing shade at George R.R. Martin's Winds of Winter delay. Which, oh wow, I didn't realize that Michael Moorcock wrote a new Elric book, so I guess, yeah, now he has some new inspiration to write another Witcher book. It seems as though poor George R.R. Martin can't seem to catch a break. He can definitely break a few chairs, but yeah, he's kind of brought this all upon himself. So yeah, to say that, oh, poor George, he just sure is unlucky. Spare me. But yes, can't catch a break these days from anyone these days, as his writing, or lack thereof, has come under scrutiny lately. Well, yeah, it has for the past, 14 years. And now the Witcher author, Andrzej Sapkowski, has thrown his opinion into the ring about Martin's Winds of Winter delay while promising more future books. Which, yeah, I'm not entirely sure how long the Witcher series is, but I know that there's quite a few books out there. Okay, so Sapkowski tells Witcher fans not to worry. Yes, some more books are in fact on the way, but I don't want to spoil the quote because it's very funny. As reported by a Redanian Intelligence. Okay, Sapkowski recently spoke at a Pole Book Festival in Poland about what he's been up to. Well, not consulting on The Witcher 4 because they don't really care. They want to tell a Ciri story about how she's the first woman to ever pass the trial of the grasses, and, well, I guess that's another topic for another time, but it totally makes sense, and it's 100% in canon, and I'm sure looking forward to more substantive gameplay reveal than a repurposed tech demo, telling fans that more Witcher books will be coming. However, while on the subject of writing, Sapkowski expressed that Witcher fans won't need to worry because unlike George R.R. Martin, whom, by the way, I know personally, when I say I'll write something, I will. That is hilarious. That's kind of like, what was it? Was it Larry Correa? Okay, for his final book in his fantasy series. He dedicated it to George R.R. Martin and said, see, George, it's not that hard. Like, now you're getting your contemporaries taking shots at you. Maybe that's why he's so bitter. Instead of using it as motivation, he's just simply using it. He's using his grief as a cloak and exchanging that grief for madness. Although Sapkowski was only having a playful dig at his fellow writing friend, his comments are certainly something that Martin has grown very accustomed to. Well, very bitter towards, let's say that, okay? Because people not even try to hold him to a standard. They're just simply asking him to follow through on a promise. It's like, oh my God, just imagine, right? Being in his very, very worn out shoes, his very caved in and molded shoes. People gobble up every one of your TV shows, okay? They hang on your every word. They turn out in the hundreds and thousands by every single one of your appearances. They just want more of your content, and you couldn't care less. Just a ungrateful, fat, bitter old man. It's pathetic. Absolutely pathetic to be in such a privileged position. Maybe this is just imposter syndrome writ large for him. He just doesn't believe, and he doesn't think that he's worthy of said spot, and now he just is lashing out irrationally instead of following through and seeing the story that made him a success out to its conclusion, either because he's scared, lazy, or doesn't know which way to take the story. But you would think you would have made some progress in the past 14 years, or at least, in the interim 3 that last we heard that, I'm 75% done. Even though, what was it, at the tail end of 2023, we got another update that, I kind of lost like 100 pages. Okay, we edited that many out. That was my progress on the year. Sapkowski went on to say that he empathized with Martin and why The Winds of Winter hasn't come out yet, stating that he too would be annoyed if a TV series got ahead of what I intended to write. I'd also be wondering whether there's any point of writing anymore, which is why we still haven't heard anything about the release schedule for season 4 of The Witcher, right? Referring to the ending of Game of Thrones, it's nice when they adapt your work, and that's the author's bloody right, but to adapt what doesn't exist yet, to extrapolate like that, that's just indecent. I mean, if I was some of those hacks over there at Netflix, I'd be going, is that like a personal attack or something? Witcher author also revealed that he hasn't seen Netflix's Nightmare of the Wolf anime or Sirens of the Deep, opting to remain quiet about most of the adaptations, as he worries too much about what fans would think of his opinions on them. Okay, so I appear in the end credits, which means if I say something positive, you'll say, well, of course, the magpie praises his own tail. And if I say something negative, you'll say, idiot. So I won't say anything. It's like, okay, so what's your take about The Witcher? It's a story that I wrote. No, what about the adaptation? It's a story that I wrote. Although Sapkowski doesn't reveal when even more Witcher books will hit the shelves, Crossroads of Ravens, which was released in Poland last year, will be distributed to the rest of the world later this year. As for season 4 of The Witcher, it is expected to hit Netflix at some stage in 2025, but an exact date has not been announced, which is hilarious because didn't Henry Cavill wrap up his stint, 2 years ago at this point in time, and that they ended up, bringing in the lesser Hemsworth brother, Liam Hemsworth, to reprise the role and see out the series. But it's kind of getting the Ironheart treatment where I thought production was done. Like, they had him in costume, they had set photos go out there, and it's like, we're looking forward. Toss a coin to your Witcher. And they don't even want to release it. I guess there was quite a bit of damage from that Witcher the Blood Origin series. And even Sapkowski, if he's sympathetic toward George about his approach to an ending, apparently that's also a position that Netflix is looking at adapting. So what? You're not getting an end to the story. That's fine. You're just mad because it's not what you wanted. Yeah, because we wanted a faithful adaptation. You had perfect casting, but you decided to usurp a Geralt who actually gave a shit about the source material to do a bunch of cringy girl boss shit. You reap what you sow. So goes for the Witcher adaptation, and so goes for Big Fat George. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo, and I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.